Hello, internets. You may have heard of the topic of illegal immigration thrown around recently. Well, wait a second. Damn it, wrong channel. Love you, Mantis. Anyway, hey schizophrenics, welcome back to the most questionably stable political channel on YouTube, and I'll cut to the chase. I've been scribbling out in my manifesto-lined notebook for a while now. It's about a little thing called reality. You see, we're not all the same, we're all very different people. Individuals vary, and these individuals are shaped by the environment that we grow up in. And unfortunately, some of us don't get on too well with others. There are some who subscribe to a variety of cultural cancers that threaten Ancapistan, or really any free market society. The reality is that some cultures just can't cut it in the modern world. The cultures that make you wonder if evolution took a coffee break. Cultures where theft is just Tuesday. Cultures where cannibalism is fine dining. Cultures where public defecation is urban renewal. Cultures where rape is courtship, and infidels are just piñatas for the faithful. These don't square with a capitalist society. They're about as compatible as a vegan at a butcher shop, or a vegan pretty much anywhere but a pride parade, frankly. They are incompatible. In a society where property rights are sacrosanct, what place is there for those who are mentally animals? The answer is none. Normally this would be totally self-explanatory. However, it has become popular in recent years to push the myth that every single culture is compatible with every other, and that there is no need whatsoever for excluding certain incompatible cultures. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Mr. Brass, isn't capitalism this magical universal solvent that turns every savage into a stockbroker? Nope, that's a lie that they've been feeding to you since you were too young to wipe your own ass. We have been led to believe that capitalism is a universalizing religion. It is not. Free trade is exclusive to free people. Some cultures are self-enslaving, and these cultures cannot exist within a free society. They're stuck in the Stone Age, except without badass mammoth hunts and whatnot, and with way more beheadings. This cultural relativism might be the doctrine of our time, thank you sociology professors, but let's not confuse academic niceties with the harsh realities of survival. Cultures that haven't evolved beyond tribal warfare or theocratic tyranny are not just incompatible, they're actually fundamentally antagonistic to the principles of voluntary association and individual liberty. Let's look at Islamists, for instance, because they've been doing a lot of immigration into Europe recently. With their theocratic chokehold, where every law is a divine command, what place do they have in a land where people are free to conduct themselves unshackled by those restrictions? It's like inviting a snake to a garden party, or just setting yourself up to be bitten. Who are you to tell the Islamists that Sharia is moronic? You're arguing with his God. How can you win an argument with his God? It is impossible to convince the Islamist against Sharia without converting him entirely away from its roots, which really isn't viable at scale. The only other option, really, is to build a time machine to go back in time and kill baby Muhammad, but then we'd have to worry about paradoxes and shit, and before you know it, we have a whole multiverse thing going that everyone hates, and it's frankly just not viable. This brings us to the glorious concept of physical removal. Cue the Pinochet stands in the comments. Based, settle down, you Chilean fetishists.
This does not even deserve a president's log introduction, because this is dead serious. The communists, inside and outside of Chile, everyone on the internet, my officers and the people are angry at me. They're blaming it at me. It's my fault. I admit it. It's my fault. I want every single communist out of my country. I'll send in the army. I'll send in the choppers. I'll send in everything in my power. Just get them out of my country.
Did I cook? Let me know if I cooked there. I don't know. Is physical removal harsh? Perhaps, but it's also completely fucking necessary. In a sane society, we recognize that not all are equal. If you can't respect the NAP or non-aggression principle for those who are uninformed, because your culture dictates otherwise, then you're not just a problem, you're actively a threat. You're a walking, talking, IED-throwing menace to polite society. In a free society, we must remove, physically if necessary, those elements that would drag us back into the Dark Ages. Whether it's the cannibal, the jihadist sharpening his scimitar, or the Stone Age survivalist, the communist, the Democrat, they must be shown the exit. Or, if given no other option, yes, the door of a helicopter at 10,000 feet. Editor, insert an awesome fucking Pinochet edit here. I'll take a double triple based edit, on the West, 4x4 Hitler style, extra slurs with a black sun and a jack, light night core, make me cry, TND, and let it chud.
We edit videos here, sir.
Now, I can already hear the pearl clutchers, the progressive libertarians, whining. But, my freedom, my inclusivity, you're so mean! Listen up, guys. Freedom doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. It means you can do whatever you want with yourself. The second you start infringing on my freedoms, like, say, turning my cul-de-sac into a war zone because your holy book told you to, you're out of here. We, the civilized, aren't the same as them, the barbarians. We build skyscrapers, innovate technologies, and respect property lines. They eat it, or blow it up, or shit on it. Pick your poison, really. Let's break this down with a little game I like to call the culture compatibility test. I'll throw out some cultural quirks, and you tell me if they vibe with Ancapistan. Ready? Here we go. Culture A thinks stealing is just borrowing without asking. Get your answers in, guys. 3, 2, 1. Afuera! Enjoy your one-way ticket to Commyville. Culture B sacrifices virgins to appease the rain gods. Everyone have their answers in? Afuera! We don't need bloodstains on the sidewalk. Culture C believes women are property and beards are mandatory. Afuera! Jihad is gonna have to continue amongst yourself, Abdul. Culture D. Public defecation's a civic duty. Afuera! Get the hell off my lawn. Seriously, please. Culture E. Thinks taxation is how you fund utopia. Afuera! And rev up those choppers. See the pattern? If your culture's stuck in a time warp where might makes right, or where right is whatever the local warlord says, then you're not just incompatible, you're a walking liability. A free society isn't some charity for savages. It's a gated community for people who know how to use a fucking fork. Now let's get dark for a minute, because if you're still here at this point, you're either a masochist or one of my ride or die schizos. The modern world's been infected with this brain-dead idea that we're gonna accommodate everyone. Everyone. The guy who thinks slavery is cool? Sure, let him in. We can't have standards. The libtard who wants to stone you for driving a Tesla? Oh, she's just misunderstood. The dude who'd rather eat your liver than trade with you. Diversity's our strength, baby. This isn't just stupid, it's suicidal. You don't invite a rabid dog into your house and call it a pet. You don't let a pyromaniac crash on your couch and hand him a lighter. So why the hell are we pretending that cultures built on violence, theft, and oppression can coexist with a system built on voluntary exchange? They can't. They won't. They'll burn it all down faster than California wildfires burnt down LA. And then they'll blame you for not giving them a month to celebrate their culture. And Europe is on a direct course for this exact fate. They're actively digging their own grave. Now we're gonna have to look at communism because you knew this was coming, my favorite punching bag, commies. Right? Commies don't just hate property, they hate the idea of property. To them, your stuff isn't yours, it's ours. Meaning theirs once they've got the guns to take it. How do you reason with that? You don't, you can't. It's like negotiating with a toddler mid-tantrum. Except in this case, the toddler's got a Kalashnikov and a manifesto. Physical removal is the only option. Preferably via a trebuchet or like a comically large circus cannon or something, because helicopters are too good for those red flag waving clowns. You all can't begin to understand how much I hate communists. I hate communists more than I love my own family, I think. The fact of the matter is that exclusion isn't just okay, it's necessary. Freedom isn't free, and it sure as hell isn't universal. It's a fragile little flower that needs constant weeding, and sometimes that means yanking out the invasive species before they choke the whole garden. If you've got a culture that thinks aggression's a virtue, they're not just weeds, they're a fucking poison. Rip them out, burn the roots, salt the earth. Metaphorically, of course. Or, maybe literally. I'm open to all sorts of options. Imagine for a moment that Ancapistan is up and running, and some third party decides to culturally enrich it. Within a week, if no action was taken, you'd see widespread looting, beheadings, all sorts of really ugly shit. That's not a society. That's Somalia. Freedom's not a suicide pact, guys. It's a contract. And if you can't sign on the dotted line without stabbing the pen through someone's hand, you're just not welcome. Let's name some names, shall we? I've been dancing around it for long enough. It's time to get specific and piss off everyone. Ahem. Here is a non-comprehensive list of everyone I'd like to exclude from the ideal society. The North Sentinelese, the Taliban, the IS, all other Islamic terrorist groups, all Islamic groups, period, communists, socialists, collectivists, populists, primitives, Hindu nationalists, all of Somalia, cartel Mexicans, San Franciscans, Los Angelites, Rudyard Lynch, cultural degenerates, you know who I'm talking about with that one, the majority of Africa, most of South Asia, short fat otaku, anyone who doesn't speak English, the illiterate, the retarded, theocrats, anyone with bipolar, anyone with color blindness, anyone with dyslexia, gingers, anyone with a BMI over 25. I think that's everyone. There might have been a few, less serious ones in there, but I think it's a good start. Look, I'm not saying we should turn Ancapistan into some sort of ethno-state or purity cult. You can form your own private community that excludes anyone who's not a 6'4" Nordic Aryan if you want, I guess. It's not really my sort of thing, though. It's more for the weirdos and tiki torch parades. What I'm saying is that freedom's got standards. You don't get a seat at the table if you're gonna flip it over and threaten everyone else. Physical removal isn't about hate, it's about survival. It's about protecting the one system that's ever given us a shot at real liberty. So next time you see someone peddling cultural relativism, laugh in their face, record it, and then send it over to me on Zitter at Tats to Brass. Then, ask them how they'd like living next to a guy who thinks their dog's a delicacy. We're not the same, and that's okay. Until it's not. When it's not, grab the chopper keys. Peace out, schizos.